These are metallic bonded diamond stones by Practical Sharpening. This is another product that they asked me to review for them, and after discussing the idea of me doing a review, they went ahead and sent them out. The way that metallic bonded diamond stones work is, it's a metal setting, and throughout the setting there's diamond abrasive. You use it the same way you would a diamond plate. You can use it wet, you can use it dry, but after the diamond on the surface is worn down, you etch the stone in ferric chloride, and it burns away some of the metal from the surface and exposes fresh abrasive. So it's like a diamond plate that's renewable. As far as the etching goes, there is some precautions that should be taken. I mean, ferric chloride, you are talking about using a chemical there, and ferric chloride is readily available on Amazon. That's where I got it from. If you're going to do an etch, if at all possible, you should do it outside or in a well-ventilated area. You should wear gloves, you should wear safety glasses, you should wear shoes. This is just common sense, but I figured that it was worth saying. As far as dealing with it when the etch is done, what I was doing was neutralizing the ferric chloride in Barkeeper's Friend. It stops the burn. You can wash it away then. And when you like I said, when you're doing an etch, you're not removing a whole bunch of steel. It's just enough that fresh abrasive is exposed. I got these, and I was using them quite a bit on different steels. The grits that are offered, at least that were sent to me, they're a range. Each grit rating is a range based off the size of the diamond particles within the stone. So the coarsest one that I got was 200 to 160, and the finest that I got was a 2 to 3 micron. So the 200 to 160 I haven't used. I have reprofiled, but I haven't used the 200 to 160. It's a little bit, I mean, it's a as far as coarseness goes, it's a monster of a stone. I mean, it would just eat through things. I have used the 100 to 80, and it does work good. I've used the 50-40 to, I mean, I've even used the 50-40 for some reprofiling, but then I'll use a coarse DMT to reprofile as well, so not too much of a jump there. I found that the coarse stones out of the box really didn't need to be etched. With the finer stones, it really made a difference to etch them before using them. I've used these stones on a handful of steels, M4, a lot of S110V, looking for different results, manipulating the way that I was etching the stones. You can etch the stones in different ways. I mean, you can put ferric chloride onto a rag and wipe it onto the stone and set it down and let the etch take place, or you can take the stone and completely immerse it in ferric chloride. Time it. I was doing anywhere from 1 minute to 6 minute etches depending upon what I was trying to do, because with etching the stones you can customize the stones to how you want. I mean, you can control the aggression that you get from the stones. That's kind of the idea of it, and that's one of the brilliant aspects of this whole thing, is that it's like a diamond plate that you can customize as far as the aggression on it and how it cuts. To review these, I wanted to pick a steel that would stand out. I didn't want to do, something like S30V. So I wanted to step it up a little bit. This is a Mako by Creeley Blades in Rex 121. This is a knife that myself and Gary Creeley had collaborated on in design and specs, and that he made for me, and I like it very much. I mean, I reviewed it, I did videos on it. I had wanted to get my hands on Rex 121, and Gary was certainly up for the challenge. I still like the knife very much. I thought that Rex 121 would be appropriate for this review. The knife had been sitting around not being used for a while, so I thought, you know, and it was sitting around sharp, so I thought let's put a little bit of use to it. Started in on some cardboard, worked through some of that. No problem for the knife. Certainly cardboard is, cutting cardboard with this knife is something I'm familiar with if you follow my videos. After that, I started in on a piece of wood, cutting into that for a little bit. No problems there. I was confident the knife would be fine, even with a steel like Rex 121. Worked my way through that, and decided to go ahead and get a move on with the sharpening. I did a fresh etch on the stones. I thought that would be a good idea. I left the 100 to 80 grit out of it, but the 50-40, 28-20, 14-10, 7-5, and 3-2. I etched all those stones before starting the sharpening. Starting in on the 100 by 80 stone, started in on it, and in under a minute I had formed a burr on each side. I mean, the stone just cuts so aggressively, and I'm using them wet. Again, I don't know that you need to use them wet, but I was. But I mean, the stone just blew through Rex 121. After that stone, I moved on to the 50-40, working with that. Again, easy burr formation, very good stone, cuts very fast. After the 50-40, I moved on to the 28-20. I worked with that. It's a finer stone. You're starting to refine the apex at that point. After that, I moved on to the 14-10. I worked with that. That's an even finer stone. I mean, with each stone, you're making a jump, but there's absolutely a difference there. You can feel it. You can feel it in the feedback from the stone. After that, I moved on to the 7-5. Worked with that stone, really bringing the sharpness up on the knife. Then I moved on to the 3-2. The 3-2, what you're talking about here is, it's a diamond stone with where the diamond particles are 2 to 3 micron in size. Like the resin bonded stones, this is a very extreme product for them to put out. They're really, I mean, it's almost, I don't know, to do it, you're going to incur some cost and some difficulty in manufacturing, but to get it out successfully, it's almost like companies flexing their muscles on what they're willing to do. The set is excellent. The sharpness on the knife absolutely comes up. Again, I wanted some kind of a finisher. Although the knife was very, very sharp off of the final stone, it had a great amount of bite on it, but I wanted to give it a little bit more refining, so I moved on to a Spyderco Ultrafine, working with that. Refine the apex just a little bit. Didn't take long. After that, I moved on to strops, starting with a 4 micron strop. I worked with the 4 micron strop. Any burr that was there was removed. Really wasn't a problem. After the 4 micron, I moved on to a 1 micron strop and worked with that. The 1 micron strop was the final strop. That's what I finished the edge on. When the 1 micron strop was done, I immediately grabbed a hair and dragged it across the edge because I wanted to see what the status of the edge was, and the knife was hair whittling sharp. Now, these stones don't produce hair whittling edges as good for me as diamond plates will. They cut differently than diamond plates, and it took me a little bit to figure it out. I had to work with them a little bit to figure out what was going on. With diamond plates, the diamond particles sit on the surface of the plate. With these, they're embedded within the stones, so they cut differently. It's going to give you a different kind of edge. Now, that being said, these are an excellent product, and they cut very fast, and they give a very desirable result. I have a very strong routine down working with diamond plates. I've spent a lot of time developing that. I've had these for a few weeks, so, you know, but I like these very much, and the idea that these work so fast that the total time on this sharpening, start to finish, was 16 minutes and 38 seconds, and that's strops included. So, what you're talking about is a 7-stone progression, 6 diamond stones, and a Spyderco Ultrafine, and 2 strops. And not only was Rex 121 hair whittling sharp, and it was, in checking the edge after the fact, even stepping away from it, I checked it initially, but stepping away from it for a minute and then checking the edge was hair whittling sharp. But beyond that, the edge was mirror polished. And Rex 121 is absolutely on the extreme side of carbide content as far as steels are concerned. So 16 minutes and 38 seconds, and the edge is mirror polished and hair whittling sharp. It's, these stones they're swinging a big stick. They really are. I think that the product is excellent. Now, there's a learning curve there. If you're really used to diamond plates, you really want to go into these with an open mind. I had worked with them on several different steels, and I wasn't getting the results that I typically get with diamond plates, and it threw me off a little bit. Things were coming up hair whittling. M4, S110V, they were coming up hair whittling and very, very sharp, but it wasn't to the same extent that I would normally get. Again, I've got a long history working with diamond plates, so, and I was trying different things. I was trying different ways to etch the stones. I was experimenting with different finishing stones, that type of thing, and I just wanted to see, what would happen, what kind of results I could get, kind of feel my way through stuff. And still, at least for this kind of a steel, I'm concluding that so far the finishing stone that I prefer after these is still a Spyderco Ultrafine. But the results are phenomenal, and I think it's an excellent product from Practical Sharpening. I was glad that they sent them to me, and after the initial discussion on these, I was very much looking forward to the product. Like with the resin bonded stones, with this ultrafine diamond stone, I did get at some point a particle sticking up that was getting in the way. I simply etched the stone again. I did a nice deep etch on the stone, and then using the spine of a knife, removed it. Took a knife in K390, scratched at it, kind of went away, and that was the end of it. You can get the same thing with diamond plates. You can, with DMT plates, you can get particles that stick up. Now, usually with DMT plates, what I would do is I start using them to true water stones like Suhiros or high grit Shaptons. That will eventually work down those inconsistencies, but I don't know. Using the spine of a knife in K390 seems to work pretty good. And people are going to look at that and they're going to say, oh, but now you're scratching up the spine of your knife. But you're really not. The impact is very insignificant on the knife. Keep in mind, it may be a diamond stone, but the particle size is, on the high side, is 3 micron. You're not exactly chewing through the spine of the knife at that rate. So it's a quick, easy solution, but that may be part of what comes with the territory with having such an ultra-fine diamond stone, is that those little inconsistencies can happen. Again, it hasn't really been a big deal with this stone. It happened once. Wasn't hard to get past, but it is worth mentioning. But the product as a whole, I think, is great, and the cutting speed is just exceptional. I mean, it really stands out. You know, when I stop and I start timing things, and especially given the number of stones in a sharpening. I mean, this isn't like with plates where I'm making a 2-stone progression or a 3-stone progression. I mean, in this case, with Rex 121, I'm doubling that. I'm doubling a 3-stone progression, and that's not including the ultra fine. So, very fast results, very effective stones as far as cutting are concerned. The quality on these is very high. There's no backing on them. It's just stone all the way through. So if for your etch you immerse the whole stone in ferric chloride, when you take it out and you've neutralized the ferric chloride and cleaned it off and all is said and done, you've really got 2 sides that you can sharpen on before you two sides to work with that you would need to wear down before you'd have to worry about another etch. So good product. I'm very happy with it, and I'm looking forward to using these more and experimenting with different steels and seeing what I can find.